All right, this is the Math Models Unit 3 um, study guide or review video. I'm going to go over the questions from the review or study guide. Just a reminder, I've designed the study guide to mirror the questions that you're going to see on the test. So what I've displayed here and what I'm telling you basically is that the questions you see on the test will be of the same type as the ones you see here. So there might have been other types of questions on the test, but these are what the test is limited to. All right, so I'm going to jump right in. Let me close my camera here. All right, so we're going to just walk through each of these questions and talk about the solution. So the first one here is looking at the mean, median, and mode of a set of numbers. And so we have a list of 5 numbers. Let's open up our markers here. The first thing I want to do is I want to rewrite this in order of least to greatest, because that's going to be necessary for median and mode. So if I do that, I get 13, 18, 20, 22, and 27. So that's the first thing you got to do. And then if you remember, mean is the average. So we're going to add those numbers together and divide by 5 because there are 5 numbers. So let's hop over here. So open Desmos, add up our numbers here. We have 13, 18, 20, 13 plus 18 plus 20, plus 18 plus 20 plus 22 plus 27. We get 100 divided by 5. Answer divided by 5 gives us 20. So that tells us right away that the mean is equal to 20. Then we want to find the median. The median is the middle number. So looking at that, it's as simple as just crossing out and finding the number in the middle. So it's also 20. And then mode is none, because there is not a number that appears more often than any other number, and that is what the mode is. So I recommend just reviewing what each of those are and how to solve for them. Again, with mean, you find the average, you add up the numbers, divide by the number of numbers. Median is the middle number in the list, and mode is the one that appears most often. You don't always have a mode. All right, next question says, find the slope and y-intercept of a line in standard form. One method to do this without much trouble is to graph. You can easily find the y-intercept by graphing. Just to give that an illustration of that, 3x minus 4y. So you don't actually have to change this, change the form of this in order to get that. So let's look at 3x minus 4y equals 12. You can see here we have a y-intercept, which is this point here, 0, negative 3. So that's my y-intercept. The slope I would need to find by counting the rise of the run. So I could do that here. I'm just going to zoom out here. This would be 1, 2, 3, up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4. So that's one way to do it, would be to just look at the graph and get that information like we talked about in the lesson. So, but really, the other way to do that, so you could graph, or if we were to solve this, I would rearrange the equation so that y is by itself. If I do that, this is what happens. I divide by negative 4 on both sides, and I get y equals 3 over 4x minus 3. Now, when I get that, I look at this and I remember that in the y equals mx plus b equation, The number that is here is the slope, and the number that is here, including the negative there, is the y-intercept. So in this case, my slope equals 3/4, and my y-intercept equals -3. So that would be the final answer there. Then they want us to find the slope of a line with 2 points. This is the equation for the slope of a line. Given 2 points, it's the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. If I plug these numbers into that, y2 is 4, y1 is 2, x2 is 3, x1 is -1, 4 minus 2 is 2, 3 minus -1, it makes 3 plus 1, that's 4, and so the slope would be 1/2. All right, and that's it for those first few questions. So let's jump over to our next set. We have some questions about quadratic functions. We need to find the vertex and the solutions. So just a reminder, when we look at a quadratic function that's graphed, you'll remember that these points here, this point and this point, right? These are what we call the solutions. And then, of course, the point here at the bottom where the line comes to its kind of lowest point, that's the vertex. That's just a reminder. So all you have to do here is graph. So if I'm looking at this first example here, we're going to graph that -2 x minus 3 squared plus 5. Let's jump over here and look at our graphing calculator. We're going to graph this. Y equals -2 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 5. And so that would be my vertex there. It would be 3, 5. Let's write that down. Let me look at our next one. Y equals 3x plus 4 squared minus 2. Similar idea, 3x plus 4 squared minus 2. And there is my -4, -2. That is my vertex. 4, -2. Now what about the solutions? Well, let's go ahead and graph this function, 1/2 x squared. 1/2 x squared minus x minus 4 squared minus x minus 4. And we can see the solutions are -2 and 4. And we say x equals -2 and x equals 4. And that would be the way I would write my final answer for those two examples there. All right. And then we're asked to do a box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plots require you to find these values. You have to find the minimum value and the maximum value. We'll start there. So the minimum value of ours is 1, and the maximum value is 10. So that tells me, first of all, I'm going to have a point at 1 and a point at 10. That's the first part of building our box and whisker plot. And then we're going to find the Q2, or the median. I'll write that both ways, Q2 or the median. So we do that by just looking for the middle number. Let's see, these, I'm marking out problems as they go in. So it's between 5 and 8. So if it's between 5 and 8, then I do 5 plus 8 divided by 2. So I get 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. So that's my Q2. And then I look on either side of that line, and I use the same process to find the Q1 and Q3, which are the medians of the medians in a sense. So that's here it's going to be 8, and over here that's going to be 2, because those are the middle numbers of those other sides here and here. So Q1 is 2, Q3 is 8. Then what you do between 2 and 8 is you draw a box like this, and then connect that to the dots that you've already drawn like this, and then mark another line at 6.5, which is the median there. Now, you are not going to be responsible for drawing your own box and whisker plot, but you are going to need to choose the correct box and whisker plot. So I'm showing you how to do the whole process. You need to be able to choose the correct box and whisker plot from a list of numbers. So just know what the different parts come from. The minimum and maximum form the dots on either end, and then the boxes formed between the Q1 and the Q3. I'll just draw it like this actually. Q1 and Q3 with a line at the Q2. And that's how you get those values. So that's just one example right there. All right. And then lastly, we have this problem where you have this table, and we've used a graphing calculator for the vast majority, an online calculator for the vast majority of this. So let's go ahead and enter our data. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Right over here, we're going to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. You need to make sure you have the link from the lesson video handy when you sit down to take the test. You can go and open it ahead of time and use it on the test that way. We'll go ahead and we can either find variance or standard deviation, one or the other, and then we can go back and find the other if we want. Select variance first. Okay. It's not loading for me here. It's a little weird. Let's try reloading this. Okay. So we have this data. It says the variance of the set is 14. But first of all, we're going to kind of answer all the parts of the question. So the first thing they ask is to fill in the table. So the table is going to be given to you down here. You can see there's the original data column and then data minus mean, and then those numbers squared. So you're going to need to, on the test, go ahead and enter all those values. So I see we have -5, -3, -1, 1, 3, and 5. Go back, and then we have 25, 9, 1, 1. Okay, so we have 25, 9, 1, 1, 9, and 25. So just collect that data directly from the table. The number of data points it's not going to be given to you, but that's straightforward. There are 6 data points, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There are 6 of them. Do you need to know how to find that on your own? They want to know the sum of the numbers. I'm not sure that this shows that information. Oh, it does. The sum. Oh, no, they do not. So you find the sum of the numbers. That's the sum of the original column. And you add all those up. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 added together. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Again, you're going to have to kind of work through this process. Kind of remember the different parts. 6, 8, 10, 12 is 42. So that's 42 right there. And then you have to find the mean, which they gave us over here. The mean is 7. That's right here. It says find the mean. In this example, the mean equals 7. So that's already given us our answer for that. The sum of the third column is also given to us here. That's right here. The sum of the numbers in the last column is 70. And then it asks for the variance. The variance is 14. There's an example down. It's shown down here at the bottom. It's also written at the top. The variance is 14. Variance is 14, and they want us to find the standard deviation, which we can easily do by just hopping down here and changing our selection to standard deviation and clicking calculate again. And it will give us the standard deviation, which is 3.74. 3.74. And that is it. So besides this, make sure that you look at the matching for the formulas that you have to know. I sent a classroom post about this, so you can practice using that worksheet. Other than that, here are your solutions. These are the things you're responsible for, so it's not too much this time around. Please reach out to me if you have questions, if you'd like to see more examples.